what's up you guys? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today on, I want to call it the Daily Grind, but it's not gonna be like well, it is gonna be Daily Grindy because it's just gonna be me and Cameron. I'm gonna talk about shit. But I actually wanted to do a little bit of a stream of consciousness and just talk about some things that are kind of going on in the community. Not necessarily the community, but just things that are happening in Warframe. And today I actually wanted to talk about Mynki leaving. So if you guys don't know, there is a post on the forum from DE Steve that has announced that Mynki will be leaving Warframe and is going to be pursuing other artistic endeavors. So, you know, best of luck to him. And that Jeff is going to be stepping into his place, which was kind of shocking because I didn't know Jeff was like all like that and shit. But, you know, he listed a couple things that Jeff had done in the past and I was like, oh, that's right, that's cool, that's cool. However, I know that we talked about it before, but let me just fucking get started. So I'm gonna start off with the sortie. They'll probably do some Kuva. I'm gonna do a bit of a mixed build, so that's that. And then I've got some nice little friendly armaments going along with me. Let's go ahead and just jump into public and take care of this today. Oh well, you know, looks like it's is this what is this? Is this Corpus or is this Grineer? Because isn't Phobos Grineer? I don't even know where anything is anymore. Anyway, so remember when I said love nothing? Yeah, I was a sucker and I lied. I forgot. I absolutely like fell in love with Mynki's work, and I think so for those of you who don't know who Mynki is the nickname of Mike Brennan, which is one of the lead artists of Warframe. And I actually went ahead and did some sleuthing because I didn't like, the thing about Warframe is there's so many amazing pieces and everything that goes on with Warframe that there's actually a lot more people involved than we realize, and there was a lot more people that I didn't realize per se. And I was taking a look through, you know, their art staff, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, okay, I don't need to worry as much because, to be honest, I had a moment. I was like, oh no, like what's Warframe gonna be like now? Blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. Kind of all of that kind of stuff. And you know, so I went through and kind of looked through old dev streams, and I went through the art panel at that they had during TennoCon, and I was like, okay, I know who's doing what. It's good to know. It's good to know that there are, God, so many fucking ospreys. But yeah, so I got really sad. It really made me sad, and I was looking at it in the stream, and I was just like, or my last night's live stream, because this was one of the things that we had talked about, was Mynki leaving, and I was like, oh my God, I did not think that I was going to have as many feels about this as possible, but for anyone who knows me, you guys know that I am a bit of a Mynki fanboy. Now, the reason that I am so enamored with Mynki is because he is the lead artist with a little bit, and he's not the only lead artist. There is also, oh God, Matt, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his last name, but Tremblay? I'm saying it French because I'm assuming they're like Canadian, which, you know, could be totally wrong of me. I'm sorry, I'm not here to assume your nationality. But yeah. There's Matt, who is also another lead artist, and he works in environments. So, you know, he's not going away, or at least I don't believe he's gone away. So there's Matt, who's still going to be designing environments and going to be leading up that team. But Mynki specifically, and I think the reason that I got so attached to him was because he was the lead character artist. Now, the thing that I like fell in love with, like the second that I fell in love with Mynki, and I knew, I was like, all right, I'm kind of loving this, is number one, he definitely has a heavy hand in a lot of character concepts. And as you guys know, I'm very big on concept art. Like that's kind of like I'm not here to toot my own horn because my horn is very, very small to toot. Oh, that sounds like a teacup penis reference. If you watched the stream last night, you'll know what I'm talking about. But basically, what happens is he's the one who is actually does a lot of the concepting for prime frames. I believe he's the only one who does concepts for prime frames. I believe that was kind of like his, like, no, this is mine, don't touch it, kind of thing. But he also did concepts for Titania and pretty much every single Warframe that we've seen out. Not saying that other people haven't provided influence or whatnot into it, but that's definitely his main wheelhouse. He's a lead artist and he does a lot of approvals on Warframes, and he does a lot of approvals on, I've heard him talk about doing approvals on weapons, specifically primed weapons, and also, what is it called? Like the things that we travel in, the Lisette, and not the Orbiter, because the Orbiter is the thing that, the landing crafts, there you go. He's also done approvals on landing crafts, so he's been kind of like the tastemaker of Warframe, and I kind of fall within, oh god, I cannot compare myself to Mynki, but you know, it's kind of like what happens with me, like when I was working with, oh my god, brain, when I was working with Hitsu-san, and more recently when I can't even say working with, because he did like pretty much like fucking all of the work, I just kind of gave a direction to go in, but also with Sharky, which I should be previewing soon. I'm gonna get off my ass and I'll give you guys a little bit of a preview with that soon. The things that I've worked on, I've been very much in the concept field, but not necessarily in actually like the modeling field or the kind of like heavy details. I'm like, ooh, well, what if it does this? What if it had things that did this? What if it rotated? What if it had things that slid out? I'm like that kind of person, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the idea. So I'm all about that kind of concept art world. So when, you know, you see him kind of like lay out all of these concepts for Warframes and whatnot, it like touches my heart. I'm like, oh my god, it's so pretty, and you have such good ideas. Why are you so brilliant? And I think it's really been important to us, because Warframes, like the Warframes are, while the environment is big and the weapons are big as well, it's kind of like the Warframes kind of anchor everything. They are like our link to the world. They're what lives within the world. They're what experiences the world, and they're also, you know, they're also like deciding factors as to whether certain characters get played or not. Like, what is even that? But no, so it kind of was like a big loss for me, and I was like, oh my god, like I can't believe that he's gone. Like, what's Warframe gonna look like now? I even tried to like to get some like sneak peekage. I'm sure that Rebecca hates it when I try to do this, but I'm like, I'm sure that Mynki's got some extra prime concepts, you know, hiding in the wings. You know, he wouldn't have left without like at least like 1 or 2 prime concepts, right? And she's like, I'm not at liberty to tell you that, Rob. And I'm like, no, but I need to know. I need to feel safe and secure. Not that I don't think that Jeff is gonna do an amazing job, but my only thing is, I've never seen Jeff that way. You know, I've only ever seen Jeff as like, you know, biceps. That's, I mean, when you look at him, that's pretty much, I'm like, that's all I see him as. No, I'm just kidding. He's not just a piece of meat. Don't treat Jeff as just a piece of meat. He is also a brilliant animation director. So that kind of, and see, for me, it's kind of like I always drew the line as like, oh, how do things physically move within the world? It's like it doesn't necessarily, at least in my brain, it didn't necessarily translate to me. But you know what? I've never seen Jeff do work. You know, I've never seen Jeff do that kind of work before, so I'm really excited to see it. I'm all about cheering people on. You know, I think it'll be exciting and it'll be nice, a breath of fresh air. But here's the thing, like, I like the air we're currently breathing. The air that we're currently breathing was good. Not that it won't be better, not that it won't be just as good, if not better, but definitely, like, you know, it always makes me antsy, and I know that we lost Ignis due to that whole hullabaloo. Which I care not to speak about, let's just say that, because I get a little bit impassioned about that situation, okay? Don't go blaming people that don't need to be blamed. But like, for me, it's kind of like, so we lost Ignis as someone who's doing, you know, the deluxe skins, and now we lost Mynki, who, you know, was the lead character artist, or yeah, I think his title is lead artist, yeah, and he did a lot of things for character concepts and whatnot, and he was very strong in that. But the thing is, we have to remember that we still have Carrie, we still have Matt. So for those of you who don't know, Carrie does a shit ton of things with accessories. He's the guy who is who actually takes care of, oh, come here. He's the guy who actually, oh, we can just go now. Whoops. I always forget that we can, just time to leave, Rob. Stop killing shit, just go. But he is, I believe that he's in charge of a lot of the weapon weapon designs and weapon concepts. He does accessories, so he's actually the point of contact for a lot of the 10th gen artists. So, you know, he's still there as well. You know, not that I think that Jeff is gonna fuck shit up. Like, let me clarify that. It's just like me right now in my griefing state of, oh my god, Mynki's gone, what am I gonna do? Like, you know, I have this mild panic, and then we don't even have Ignis doing skins anymore. I'm like, where is the art gonna go? I don't think it's gonna go too far, because of course there are other character concept artists. I actually wrote out, like, Mynki's team, the team of people that he have mentioned that works under him, that, like, does all of the modeling and whatnot, and who knows, maybe comes up with their own concepts as well, and maybe now that there's a space for that, you know, maybe some of their concepts will come and rise, and we'll see some interesting new things that we hadn't seen before. But it's just kind of like that antsiness that I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen next? I'm so worried. But as we speak, like, as I started, like, investigating and kind of looking through all of the different things that these teams are involved in, I'm like, oh, I forgot. There are a multitude of amazing artists out there that are working underneath them, and to be real with you, you know, there's a lot of times where Mynki, you know, had said it himself, he basically just approved on things. So I know that Carrie was there, and there's a lot of people that actually made the Prime weapons, and that, you know, basically, oh my god, Mynki was there to approve. So he was like, okay, I like that. And I think that even on the art panel, it was Lucas, who does a lot of concepting himself. He's the one who did I believe he's the one who did the Nova Deluxe skin, and he does a lot of things with the Grenier. That he, you know, actually was there, and he was like, all right, so I 3D modeled these landing crafts, I hope you like them. And he was the one who actually sat there, modeled them, and created them. So there are still a lot of people that, you know, have the Warframe aesthetic in their blood, you know? And I think that Warframe is still going to look fairly similar to the way they are now, maybe with a couple new twists, and I'm excited to see that. However, I am still in shock. Because, you know, when I said love nothing, when I said, you know, oh, get used to change, I didn't think it would be to, like, core staff. I'm like, oh, my heart and soul, I can't believe that they're gone. Oh. But it's also me just fanboying too. And to be honest with you, I probably give him more credit than is due, but no, I think that he deserved all of the credit that he got. You know, the thing about it is, when you're working with a team, sometimes you have to say no to certain things, and sometimes you have to, you know, sometimes you have to say, okay, I need this changed. This is great, but I need a different iteration that's gonna fit better. And I kind of trust that he was a great tastemaker for the character department, because all of the characters that we've seen, and this is one of the things that I absolutely loved about Mynki, was when he fell under criticism for things like, oh, well, you should rework Trinity's skirt, or you should change this about Banshee. You know, we don't like her boat shoes. He very much stood up to that. He has this, like, kind of unwavering, you're like, hey, listen, this is the spirit of the character. This is how the character is supposed to feel. Yes, they've got shoes that maybe you don't like, but as human beings, we've all got things that make us unique and different. And we need to embrace those things. This is not gonna be the typical sci-fi, let's make hot women and let's make buff men kind of an art, you know, kind of an art style. Like, this is gonna embrace things that are a little bit different and a little bit strange and maybe feel a little foreign to people. And I loved the fact that he was like, nah, this, even though this isn't typical, and okay, I might get into some hot water about this. Like, Ignis, oh my god, please don't, just dodge it. No, I can't dodge it. Alright, we're just gonna say things how they are. I found Ignis to be an amazing artist, and I thought that, you know, his work was absolutely gorgeous. You know, you've heard me rant and rave. You've heard me rant and rave about his amazing work. But he definitely had a very specific art style, which is very this kind of like, I'm super cool and super badass, like, look at me, and I loved it. I fucking loved it. I ate that shit up. But at the same time, like, I felt that it didn't embrace the uniqueness and the strangeness as much, you know, it's kind of like there's this kind of peculiarity to like Warframe. There's very, oh my god, that's why these goddamn tornadoes. This is like my least favorite CC ever. One of my least favorite CCs ever. I'm like, no, come back, let me shoot you. But no, yeah, Mynki was willing to embrace the weird. You know, he was willing to embrace things that weren't maybe necessary. You bitch. You're a bitch. That's what you are. You're a fucking bitch. Hold on. Let's do this. Yeah, Mynki was willing to embrace things that maybe weren't typically what we would consider to be like typically cool looking. He made being a little off cool. And I kind of really love that. I mean, he talked about it with his, you know, with Titania. He was like, I was trying not to make like, trying to do bug-eyed helmets because, you know, that's you know, not necessarily typical, but at the end of the day, he kind of gave into his instincts, and he made like an amazing, you know, he made an amazing looking frame, and he embraced the weird bug-eyedness that is Titania's base helmet, you know? She looks kind of buggy. She's like fairy, but buggy at the same time. And not buggy as in like filled with bugs or riddled with bugs, but kind of like, you know, she has a little bit of that bug feeling to her. And every Warframe has this weird, like I said, this kind of like off-kilter, unique persona about them. It wasn't this kind of like, look at how badass I am, but it's like, I'm badass, but I'm also kind of different. And that's something that I absolutely loved, and I thought that he embraced it, and he said, no, this is what this is, you know? People, it's almost like a metaphor for life. I know that sounds so tacky and so cheesy, but it's kind of like the fact that he so willingly embraced things that were a little bit different, that were a little bit odd, and said, no, this is cool. And he was like, just because it doesn't necessarily suit everybody's tastes, it is a part of them that becomes iconic. And I think that for me, that embraces Mynki's style. He's willing to do something a little bit different. He's willing to embrace things that people wouldn't typically embrace, and he really did mold Warframe's art style into what it is now. And now I think that a lot of us embrace the weird shit. I think that a lot of us are very much like, oh, it's different. I like the fact that it's a little bit different. And I have to kind of give credit where credit is due. So for me, he will definitely be missed. However, I am still very excited to see what happens with Jeff. Like, he's been brilliant with the animation team. So I can only cross my fingers that the same will go for the lead artist. My cat is like doing something very strange. So I think that maybe that's a time for me to. Could you stop? I'm having this heartwarming moment, and Apollo's like, listen, I really want to get into this closet. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what's up ahead. I am sad to see, you know, what was behind. Come here, you want to say bye to Mynki? No, apparently he doesn't. But anyway, so that's just my stream of consciousness. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I will be doing another one very soon about, well, let's just wait for that. And I will leave you with this, as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. And if you guys haven't already seen it, to go onto the links, I'll leave the link to the forum post in the description below, and I've also got links to his Tumblr and also his Twitter. Not that that's weird. They posted that up. That was okay. They posted it up themselves. I'm not stalking Mynki. I swear to God, I'm not stalking Mynki. Anyway, you guys take care of yourselves. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.